Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make this really gorgeous daisy in a square pattern. It's really simple to do, perfect for beginners to try as well. It's another variation of your traditional granny square with a daisy as the center of your square. Okay, so we'll be working our way from the center outwards, and you'll need 3 colors of yarn to make this pattern. One color will be for the center, another color for your petals, and the third color for your square. Okay, so you'll need at least 3. I'll be using yellow, white and this blue color. So if you would like to learn how I made this gorgeous daisy in a square, then please keep watching. So I'm going to start with the yellow colored yarn. And in this tutorial I'll be using a 4mm size crochet hook and the yarn corresponding to the size of my hook. So you can begin this project with the slip knot method or the magic circle method. It's totally your preference. If you start with a slip knot, you need to make a chain of 5, turn it into a ring and then start row 1. If you start with your magic circle, you can straight away start with row 1 after you've made your circle. Okay, so I have tutorials for both of them in the beginner series, so I'm just going to leave links of my tutorials in the description box below, so you may check that out if you need to. Alright, so I'll just start with my slip knot like so. Alright, and then I'm going to make a chain of 5. So to make a chain of 5, all you need to do is put your hook below your yarn like so. Alright, pull your hook down, grab your yarn, pull it down and pull it through like so. Okay, so that right there is chain 1. You need to do that 4 more times. So chain 2, go below your yarn, grab your yarn, pull it down, pull it through. Chain 3, chain 4 and chain 5. Alright, so once you've made a chain of 5, now you need to make a slip stitch into the first chain that we made here. So this one right here. If you're not quite sure where your first chain is, all you need to do is count backwards from your hook. When you count backwards, you're not going to count the loop on your hook, so you're not going to count this one. You're going to start counting from the one below it. So this one right here. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you're going to make a slip stitch into this chain right here. Okay, so to make a slip stitch, all you need to do is insert your hook right there like so. Alright, grab your yarn, pull it through and pull it through again. Okay, so we've converted our foundation chain into a foundation ring like so. And now my tips. If you've watched my tutorials before, you know what I'm going to say right now. So all you need to remember now is you've got your loose end here, right? So make sure you're holding your loose end along with your foundation ring when you make your row 1 stitches in row 1, so that when you work your stitches, this loose end sort of gets into the stitches and you don't have to worry about it in the end. And another thing is, when you separate your yarn like so, you'll see there are 2 spaces opening up, a smaller one above and a larger one below, right? So the larger one below, this one right here, that is the center of your ring. So all your stitches in row 1 has to be into this larger space below. Okay, so make sure you're not working into this small gap space here. That is just the chain space. Okay, so all that said, let's begin row 1. So for row 1, you need to make a chain of 4. Alright, so continue and make your chain 4. Alright, so in this chain of 4, the first 3 chains are going to act as our first double crochet in row 1. Okay, the first 3 chains will count as 1 double crochet. When I say double crochet, this is the US term. So in the UK, this will be your treble crochet stitch, and the last chain is going to act as the chain space between your stitches. So after you've made a chain of 4, you're going to make 1 double crochet into the center of your ring. So right here, okay, that space we spoke about. So to make a double crochet, you just yarn over once like so. Insert your hook into that center space we spoke about. grab your yarn, pull it through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Grab your yarn, pull it through the first 2 loops like so. 2 loops on our hook. Grab your yarn and pull through the next 2 loops. So that's 1 double crochet right there. Okay, after that you're going to chain 1. Alright, and make another double crochet. So the same thing, you're going to yarn over once, go into that center space, grab your yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook. Grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook. Grab your yarn and pull through the next 2 loops. Another double crochet, and you're going to chain 1 and then make another double crochet. So you're basically going to repeat this till you get a total of 12 double crochet. So when I say a total of 12 double crochet, that's going to include this chain 3 that we made. Okay, so your chain 3 plus 11 double crochet. Okay, and then don't forget to chain 1 in between. So after every double crochet we chain 1 and then make another one. Okay, so don't forget the chain ones in between your double crochet, and go ahead, continue your row 1 until you get a total of 12 double crochets. All right. So here I finished my last double crochet. Alright, and then I'm just gonna chain 1. Alright, and before we slip stitch and finish row 1, it's always good to count your stitches to make sure you've got it right. Okay, so let's do that. So here we have our first chains that we made, first 4 chains that we made, right? So that's going to act as 1 double crochet. So let's count that as 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so we've got our 12 double crochets. Don't forget to chain 1 in between all of them. After your last double crochet, you chain 1 again. Alright, and then you can pull on your loose end here just to sort of make the center smaller. Okay, and then just slip stitch into the 3rd chain that we made. Okay, so from the first 4 chains, you're just going to count till the 3rd one, so this one right here, and then you're going to make a slip stitch. So you're going to insert your hook into that chain space like so, grab your yarn, pull it through and pull it through again. Okay, so that right there completes your row 1. And now you're going to change your color, so you're just going to chain 1. Alright, and then grab your scissors, leave a little bit of yarn here, and then just cut your yellow yarn off. Okay, and then you're just going to pull through like so, tighten your nose. Okay, and now we're ready to start with row 2. So now get your white color yarn so that we can make our petals. If you want your petals to be another color, that's fine. Just get the yarn that you want to make your petals for your daisy. Okay, so I've got my white color yarn here, and then you can join it in any of these gap spaces that we made in row 1. So when I say gap spaces, that is the chain 1 spaces that we made. So any of these gap spaces. Okay, so you can attach your yarn in any of these gap spaces. Alright, so let's say I'm going to attach it into this space right here. Okay, so all I'm going to do is insert my hook into that space like so, grab my yarn, pull it through. Okay, and then I'm just going to tie a knot, a simple knot. Okay, just for added security. Okay, and then I'm going to insert my hook into that same gap space that we just attached the new yarn into. Okay, and then grab my yarn like that, pull it through and then just chain 3. Okay, so chain 1, chain 2 and chain 3. Okay, so this chain 3 is going to act as one double crochet as well in this row 2. Okay, and now you can see we have these 2 loose ends here. Okay, the yellow colored yarn as well as the white colored yarn. So make sure that it's towards one side like this. Okay, and make sure that you're holding it along with your corner of your circle like so that when you work your stitches in row 2, these 2 loose ends work their way into the stitches and you do not have to worry about it in the end. Okay, so make sure you're just holding it along your circle like that. Okay, so now let's begin with our row 2 proper. So after you've made your chain 3, all right, now we are going to make a 2 double crochet bobble stitch into this very same gap space that we just worked this 3 chains into. Okay, so the same space we are going to work 2 double crochet bobble. It sounds complicated, but it's nothing. If you want to learn the bobble stitch a little more in detail, then I have another tutorial on it as well, so I'll leave the link in the description box below. You may check that out and come back to this one if you're an absolute beginner. Okay, otherwise just follow me here. Okay, so to do that, all you need to do is yarn over once. All right, like so. Insert your hook into that gap space, that same gap space. All right, grab your yarn, pull it through. 3 loops on our hook. Right, you're gonna yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops like so. Okay, as you normally would do your double crochet. All right, but now you're going to stop right here and you're not going to complete this double crochet. Normally we would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops as well, right? But we want incomplete stitches, so we are not going to complete this double crochet. So you're going to leave these 2 loops like that and you're going to start another double crochet. So you're going to yarn over once. All right, go back into that same space like so, grab your yarn, pull it through. So now we have 4 loops on our hook. All right, you're gonna grab your yarn and pull through just the first 2 loops. Okay, so now we have 3 loops on our hook and our 2 incomplete double crochets, and this is the first chain 3 that we made. Okay, so our chain 3 and our 2 incomplete double crochets. So now we're just going to complete this stitch. So you're going to yarn over and pull through all these 3 loops. Okay, so that's it. So this was your 2 double crochet bobble. Okay, so after that you're just going to chain 2. So chain 2 as normal. Okay, and now into the next gap space. So we just worked into this one, right? So this gap space. So now we're going to work into the next gap space. So this one right here. Okay, and we are going to work 3 double crochet bobble. Okay, so for that again you're going to yarn over once like so. Okay, insert your hook into that gap space, grab your yarn, pull it through. We have 3 loops on the hook. Grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, and we're going to stop this stitch here. So we have 2 loops on our hook and 1 incomplete double crochet. All right, leave it like that. You're going to yarn over again. Okay, yarn over once. Go back into that same space we are working in. Insert your hook there. Grab your yarn again, pull it through. We have 4 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops only. Okay, like that. And now we have 3 loops on our hook and 2 incomplete double crochet stitches. Okay, so we are going to do it once more. So leave all these 3 loops as it is. Yarn over once again. Go back into that same space. Grab your yarn, pull through. We have 5 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Okay, and now we have 4 loops on our hook and 3 incomplete double crochets here, right? 1, 2 and 3, and 4 loops on our hook. So once we have that, now we can complete this stitch. So you're going to yarn over and pull through all these 4 loops. All right. When you pull through all these 4 loops, another tip I can give you is that make sure that your crochet hook, okay, your hook side of your hook is facing down like that, okay, so that it doesn't get tangled in between, and make sure you're giving good tension to your yarn here, okay, so that it doesn't untangle like that, okay, and then just pull through all your 4 loops. Simple. Okay, and then you're going to chain 2. So 1 and 2, and you're basically going to repeat this all the way around. So you're going to do another 3 double crochet bobble into the next gap space here. So we just worked into this one, so now we're going to work into the next gap space. So this one right here, and we're going to do the same thing that we did here. So a 3 double crochet bobble. Okay, so for that you're going to chain, you're going to yarn over once, okay, and then you're going to go into that gap space, grab your yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook, okay, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook, stop right there. All right, yarn over once, go back into that same space, grab your yarn, pull through 4 loops on our hook, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops only, okay, like that. We have 3 loops on our hook now, okay. You're going to stop that there, and you're going to yarn over once again, go back into that same gap space like that, grab your yarn, pull through 5 loops on our hook, grab your yarn and pull through just the first 2 loops, okay. Now we have 4 loops on our hook and 3 incomplete double crochets in that gap space, okay. So we are done with our 3 double crochet bobble. You're going to complete the stitch by yarning over once and pulling through all the 4 loops, okay. So these are our petals forming, okay. So that petal is done. You're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then work another 3 double crochet bobble into the next gap space. So you're basically going to work this all the way around. You're going to work 3 double crochet bobble into each gap space, and then you're going to chain 2 in between all your bobble stitches, okay. So after your chain 2, yarn over once, go into the next gap space. So we are just working into the gap spaces, all right. Yarn over, pull through 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook. You're going to stop there, yarn over once, go back into that same space, grab your yarn, pull through. We have 4 loops on our hook, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, 3 loops on our hook. We are going to stop right there, yarn over once again, go into that same space, grab your yarn, pull through. We have 5 loops on our hook, grab your yarn and pull through just the first 2 loops, okay. And so now we have 4 loops on our hook, and we have 3 incomplete double crochets in that gap space. You're going to complete this stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops like so, okay, and then you're going to chain 2 and work again into the next gap space, okay. So just repeat this all the way around till you reach the end here, and you should have 12 petals like so, okay. So work into each gap spaces from the previous row and chain 2 in between. You're going to work 3 double crochet bobbles into each of the gap spaces, okay. So 3 double crochet bobble into your gap spaces, all right, and chain 2 in between. Simple, right? It's not too difficult. If you're a little confused with the bobble stitch, just practice it a little and then you'll be able to do it easily, okay. It's basically 3 incomplete double crochets. You're working all into that gap space, And when you're done with the bobble, you'll always have 4 loops at the end. Okay, pull through all the 4 loops, chain 2. Don't forget to chain 2 in between your bobbles. Okay, so work your way all the way around till here, and I'll meet you right here. Okay, so I'm almost done here. I'm now going to work into my last gap space here. I'm going to do the same thing, 3 double crochet bobble. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 incomplete double crochet, and 3 incomplete double crochet. Right, I've got my 4 loops on my hook. I complete that, so pull through all that, 4 loops, chain 2 again at the end. Okay, and before we slip stitch and finish our row 2, it's always better to count our petals. So we're just going to count our petals. We should have 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so perfect. After you finish your last petal, you're again going to chain 2, and then you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the first 3 chains that we made. Okay, we had made a 3 chain in the beginning of our row 2, right? So you're just going to count till the 3rd chain. So that's this one right here. You're going to insert your hook there like so, grab your yarn, pull through and pull through again. Okay, so that right there completes your row 2. Now we are going to be changing our color, so you can just chain 1. All right, grab your scissors, leave a little bit of yarn to sew in the end, and just cut your yarn like so. Okay, and then pull your hook like that, tighten your nose. Okay, now if you had worked your loose ends as I said before, this is how your work will look. So your loose ends have already gone in. If you've got little bits coming out like that, you can just cut them off. Okay, but be careful that you're not cutting your stitches. Okay, just gonna make that clearer. And then here at the center, I had already worked my loose end along with the row 1 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to just trim that off as well. Okay, so now everything looks neat. Okay, and now we'll start with our row 3. So for rows 3 and 4, I'm going to be using this really gorgeous blue colored yarn. Okay, and you can join your yarn into any of these spaces that we made between the petals. So you can join it to any of them. Okay, between your bobble stitches where we had made our chain 2. Okay, so you can attach your new color into any of these spaces. So let's say I'm going to attach it here. Okay, so between your petals, join it any way that you like. I'm just gonna bring it through and tie a simple knot like that. Bring the loose end to my left. Okay, and then insert my hook into that gap space, grab my yarn, pull through. Okay, and just make a chain 3 as normal. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. All right, and this chain 3 is going to act as our first double crochet in row 3. Okay, and now what you're going to do is you're going to work 2 double crochets into that same gap space. So into the same gap space we just worked our chain 3, you're going to make 2 double crochet. So you're going to yarn over once like so, go into that gap space, grab your yarn, pull through, 3 loops on our hook, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook, grab your yarn and pull through both the loops. So that's 1 double crochet. Okay, you're going to make 1 more into that same gap space. Okay, so including the chain 3, we have the chain 3 plus the 2 double crochet, so we have total of 3 double crochet into that gap space there. All right, you're going to chain 1 like so and work 3 double crochets again into the next gap space. So this gap space here, okay, between this petal and this petal, this space here, we are going to work another 3 double crochets. Okay, so in this row it's basically all complete stitches now. Okay, so in row 3 and row 4 you're just working complete stitches, no more bobble stitches. Okay, that was only for the petal that we did our bobble stitches. Okay, so yarn over once like that, go into that gap space, grab your yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, grab your yarn, pull through the next 2 loops. Okay, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. Okay, so we made 3 double crochets into that gap space here. Okay, and now we are basically trying to convert this daisy flower into a square, right? So we need to work our corners. So after the 3 double crochet you're going to chain 1. Okay, so now we have 2 sets of our 3 double crochet, 1 into each of these gap spaces. Right now into the next gap space, so that's between these 2 petals, so this space right here, we are going to work the corner of our square. Okay, so if you've done granny squares before, you know what I'm talking about. It will be 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into this very same gap space. Okay, so you're gonna do 3 double crochets first. Okay, into that gap space, so 1, 2, 3. So we have our 3 double crochets. Okay, you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and work another 3 double crochet into that very same gap space. Okay, so this will be the first corner, okay, of our square. So another 3 double crochet into that very same gap space. So we worked 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into this gap space. Okay, and now you're going to chain 1, all right, and work another 3 double crochet into the next gap space. So just as we did in the beginning, we're just going to chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into the next gap space. 1, 2 and 3. So we worked 3 double crochet there. All right, we're going to chain 1. Okay, and into the next gap space we work another 3 double crochet. Okay, so the same thing, we chain 1 and work another 3 double crochet into the next gap space as well. Like that, and we chain 1. Okay, and now into the next gap space we work another corner. Okay, so we are going to do the corners the same way as we did the one before. So that will be 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into that same gap space. Okay, so this row is actually quite similar to your traditional granny square row 4, right? It's quite similar to row 4 of your traditional granny square. So if you've made granny squares before, this should not be too difficult. So here I worked 3 double crochet. I'm going to chain 2, right, and work another 3 double crochet into that same gap space to make our second corner of the square. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. All right, see how our square is forming. So we've done halfway, right? You're going to chain 1 and then basically repeat this again. So into the next gap space we work 3 double crochet, then chain 1, and into the next gap space we work another 3 double crochet, chain 1. Okay, and after 2 sets of your 3 double crochets into the next gap space, so this gap space here, okay, you're going to work another corner, okay, and then work your way all the way till the end here. Okay, so I'll just show it to you once more. So after you do this corner, you chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into this gap space. Okay, the next gap space, work 3 double crochet. Alright, chain 1 and into the next one again you work 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3. Alright, chain 1 and now here you're going to work another corner. So after every 2 sets of your 3 double crochets, okay, you're going to have a corner. So you're going to have totally obviously 4 corners for your square. Okay, so this is how it should look like so far. So you have your 2 sets of double crochet and then a corner, right? 2 sets of double crochet, a corner, 2 sets of double crochet, a corner, 2 sets of 3 double crochets, and then the next one will be a corner again. So after you chain 1, you're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into this corner again. Okay, I hope this is making sense. It's quite similar to your row 4 of your traditional granny square. Okay, so work your way like that all the way till the last gap space, and I'll meet you at the last gap space. Okay, I'm just finishing my corner here. So your corners will have the same number of stitches. All your 4 corners will have 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. Okay, so here I finally reached the last gap space, okay, for row 3. So here I've done my 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then this last gap space will be a corner space again. So you're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into this very same gap space. Okay, so work your corner into that same gap space. So 1, 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2, alright, and another 3 double crochet all into that same gap space. Okay, so this is how your row 3 should look like. Okay, so you're getting the shape of your square, right? So we worked a corner at the last gap space as well, and then you're just going to chain 1, okay, and slip stitch into the 3rd chain. Okay, from the first 3 chains that we made, you're just going to count to the 3rd chain, so this chain space right here. You're going to insert your hook there, grab your yarn, pull through and pull through again. Okay, so basically a slip stitch into that 3rd chain space. Okay, and that right there completes your row 3. And now you can make another row of your square, okay, to get the shape of your square a little more rigid. Okay, so you can change the color of your yarn if you wish to, but I'll just be working with the same color. Okay, so if you want to change your yarn, then you just chain 1, cut off your yarn and then attach your next yarn, your next color. Okay, but I'm just going to continue. So for row 4, you're going to start with a chain 4. Okay, so make a normal chain 4 like that. Okay, and then in this chain 4, the first 3 chains are going to act as 1 double crochet. Okay, so our first double crochet in row 4, and then the chain 1 at the end is going to act as the chain 1 space between your sets of stitches. Alright, so after your chain 4, you're going to go straight into the first gap space. Okay, so that's this one right here, and work 3 double crochet. Okay, so work 3 double crochet into that first gap space. 2 and 3. Okay, so we worked 3 double crochet there, right? We chain 1. Okay, and into the next gap space we work another 3 double crochet as well. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. All right, and then we chain 1, and now we've reached our first corner, right? So here we are going to work another corner. So your corner stitches are going to be the same. You're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into this very same corner gap space. Okay, so work your corner as we did so far. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 2 and another 3 double crochet back into that same gap space we just worked into. Okay, so we worked our corner, our first corner in row 4, right? Okay, and after that you're just going to chain 1 again and work 3 double crochet into the next gap space. So this gap space right here, we'll be working 3 double crochet. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet and 3 double crochet. Okay, we chain 1 again, okay, and work another 3 double crochet into the next gap space. So this gap space right here, we work another 3 double crochet. So this row is quite similar to your traditional granny square. This row will be similar to row 5 of your traditional granny square. So if you've made traditional granny squares before, this shouldn't be difficult to do. Okay, so once we made our 3 double crochet in this space as well, we chain 1 again and work another 3 double crochet into the next gap space. Okay, don't forget to chain 1 in between your sets of your 3 double crochet. Okay, 1, 2 and 3, and we've reached our next corner, right? So again you chain 1, okay, and then when you work your corners, it's going to be the same as we did before. It's going to be 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into that very same corner gap space. Okay, so 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 2, okay, and 3 double crochet again into that very same corner space. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet and 3 double crochet. Okay, so we worked our second corner for row 4 as well. Okay, chain 1, okay, and again work the same way as we did so far. So you're going to work 3 double crochet here, chain 1, 3 double crochets here in the next gap space, chain 1, 3 double crochet here, chain 1, and into the corner space we are going to work as we did all the corners. So 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into this corner space, chain 1 again and do another 3 double crochet in the next gap space, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the next gap space, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the next gap space. Again into the corners we work the same way. Okay, so work your way all the way till here and I'll tell you how to finish off this row 4. All right, so here I've almost reached the end of row 4 as well. Okay, so I'm going to be doing my last corner, okay, right above the corner from the previous row. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. You're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet all into that corner gap space. Okay, and of course since we are doing a square, you should have 4 corners after we are done with this as well. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, chain 1. So here we have our 4 corners, so 1, 2, 3, and our 4th corner we just did. Okay, and now chain 1 and we reach our last gap space right here. Okay, last gap space. So remember we did a chain 4 at the beginning, right? I said the first 3 chains will act as 1 double crochet, so that is going to be 1 double crochet for this gap space. Okay, so we're going to do something a little different in the last gap space. Instead of making 3 double crochets as we did all the way, for all the gap spaces here, when we reach the last gap space, we are just going to do 2 double crochet. Okay, so after we did our corner, we chained 1, and when we reach our last gap space, we are just going to do 2 double crochets. Okay, so 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet, and this 3 chains from the first 4 chains we did will act as 1 double crochet. So this set is complete, and now we're almost done with our row 4 as well. To complete row 4, all you're going to do is make a slip stitch into the 3rd chain. Okay, so you just count your way. So 1, 2, 3, this chain space right here, we're going to make a slip stitch. So insert your hook there, grab your yarn, pull through and pull through again, and now I'm going to stop right here. So our daisy in a square is complete. To finish off, you can add more rows if you want, just keep doing the same thing again and again. Okay, if you want to make it larger, but I'm just going to stop here. So when you're finished, you just chain 1. Okay, grab your scissors, leave a little bit of yarn to sew in the end and cut off your yarn. Okay, and pull your hook like that, tighten your nose. Okay, and just sew in this end. Okay, and cut off any excess yarn that is showing in any of your loose ends before. Sew in this last end, and you're basically done with your daisy in a square. So here I've basically sewed in my ends and I've cut off the excess, and my daisy in a square is complete. I hope you could follow this tutorial. Please give this video a thumbs up if you could, and subscribe to my channel for more wonderful tutorials on how to crochet. You can also follow me on my social media. I'm there on Instagram and Twitter as well as Google+. So add me there, and write in your comments and suggestions in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you guys, and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.